Kenny here with Gardening Simplified. It's March 14th, and we're going to talk about potatoes of all kinds. Okay, and we're over here at our French fingerlings. Now, we've been moving our tubs with our herbs and rejuvenating the pots or the containers and raising the level up because they were kind of low, and we split some of our plants apart. And anyway, we used what was left extra from the containers, and we went ahead and healed up these French fingerlings. Now, these were the ones that were the unconventional potatoes, and you can see they're doing really well. Now, we do have some cold weather coming. We'll go ahead and drape these with some row cover to protect as much as we can. It's going to be a few days away, and then once we get past that, I think maybe it'll be smooth sailing. We better get this piece of grass there. Anyway, those are some of them. Now we'll go back up here. We're going to talk about sweet potatoes too while we're doing this, being potatoes of all kinds. Now we took the last of we had a bunch of extra sweet potatoes, and we bedded them up in this compost right here just outside the garden, and there's no sign of them coming up, which they like warm weather, and it's been off and on warm cold. And so anyway, we'll keep an eye on those and see how they're going to do. And while we're up here at the main garden, we're going to look at our sweet potatoes that we've already started growing slips. They're getting pretty active. They all hadn't come up, which, like I say, it's still kind of cool weather, and we'll probably move these to the ground and cover them for this cold spell too, because they definitely won't like it. But you can see they're trying to grow wild and take off. Now, I did bury some of these as they were getting along, and what that does is it encourages them to root, so you have more in there. And we have some other cool weather plants. These we'll just wait before we put them out, or rather warm weather plants. We'll move all these to the ground. I don't think we'll need to take them in. But anyway, we're on potatoes, so we're going to go take a look at the old garden and look at how our potatoes are doing over there. Now we're out here at the old garden spot. Now, if you remember, you look back, we had actually planted these on February 14th and maybe 15th. But you can see now the ones up here, the Kennebecks, they were the last to break the ground. These were the first right here. This is the red Pontiacs, these two rows, and then these last ones are all three of these are Yukon Golds. And as you can see, it's been a month, and you see the little weeds starting to really get after it here. Now, what I'm doing with the tiller, and it doesn't get broke out very many times during the year, but I'm going down through here, and I've got it set about 2 inches deep, and I'm just stirring those top piece of grass, and plus I'm loosening the soil enough that I can pull soil up on these potatoes. But we go down here to the end of the row, and we had run out of Yukon Golds down at the end. Now, this row here might get a little bit harder to take care of, because this was more like that out there. It hadn't been worked. We kind of extended it over a little bit, and I'll probably till one more strip with the tractor on that side to take and give a little weed break. But now you can see right down here we get to the last of these, And then we have a whole bunch of them here. Now this section here was the old potatoes that were shriveled up, just thrown in a bushel basket that was too small. They weren't even small enough we were going to mess with eating them or canning them. We just put them in the basket, and I went ahead and put these out. And they was kind of like the French fingerlings. They weren't much of a potato, but you see, it doesn't take much of a potato to start a plant. But I did want to show that. We had done that experiment before with some potatoes. And of course, they didn't produce real heavy, but they did produce. Now, I'm running this tiller down here about 6 inches to 8 inches from the row. Now, it is throwing a little dirt over and makes it look closer in some places. But now, these are young potatoes, so they're not rooting out so much very far, and plus I'm not going very deep, but I don't want to end up cutting in them, any of them. Now you can see this potato is actually on top of the ground, and that one is, because the rain and a little erosion and stuff down through here. But what we're going to do now, we have some cold weather coming later on this week. It's Monday today, and I think Thursday and definitely Friday, maybe Sunday. But one of the days they're saying 33 degrees, and when it says 33, I like to think 2 to 4 degrees cooler. So, but what we're going to do is we're going to bury these. There's quite a few of these that are just right on top, because we didn't bury them very deep. We wanted them to come up, and now remember, these things set potatoes off of the stem above the seed potato. So that's going to be very important. But what we're going to do is we're going to start over here, and we're going to put some fertilizer there, and then we're going to pull some dirt. And a lot of these will completely bury. Now we aren't worried about it. They'll come back out, but it'll protect a bigger part of them from a freeze if it does come. So they'll be that much stronger when they come on out. If it freezes the tops, it takes them a little bit longer to recover than actually burying them. So anyway, let me get after this. Okay, first thing I'm going to do, and hopefully the wind won't take and carry off too much of mine. What I'm using, I've got some chicken litter left. I take a 5-gallon bucket, my normal deal with it. And this chicken litter is, it was aged when I got it, but it's over 2 years old now. So it's not going to burn this. But I've got, with a 5-gallon bucket, I've mixed 2 cups of ag lime, a cup of phosphorus, which is good for tuber production and blooms, which we're not really interested in blooms, but we are interested in tubers. And it's got a cup of azomite in here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down each side of this row. I'm going to give it plenty of fertilizer. And then I'm going to come back and take and pull the dirt up. So we'll be laying these by. This is kind of the same way we do our corn, except we don't normally bury it. Yeah, the only disadvantage of this is if it's windy, it kind of wants to carry some off. But anyway, once we do that, Now you can use a hoe or a rake. I had planned to use a rake, but I forgot to put it in my vehicle. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull dirt. And as you can see, I'm burying a lot of these. We're not worried about it. This is the way we do potatoes. But in the same instance, as you can see, we're covering up those little weeds. And they won't have the energy to pop out. So in the same instances, we're taking care of our potatoes, healing them up. We're also taking care of the weed situation in our potato patch. Now, these potatoes, like I say, this has been 30 days. Well, I say 30. It actually is 28 days. Being February, got a couple days left. But now, if it comes to a freeze, the only thing that's going to get damaged is what little bit of leaves are sticking out. Now these will come right back up. Won't take long. Hopefully they'll wait a week so that we don't have to worry about, we got a little weed there, so we don't have to worry about our potatoes freezing. Now, this is always something that's a possibility when you plant your potatoes early. Even though we're down here in 8A, you never know what the weather's going to do. And it's as easy as that, which this in a little after it's done. Okay, I have to admit, it is the next day, and I ended up hand hoeing about a row and a half, and then I broke down and went and picked me up an implement healer to attach to my tractor so I could pull these up and just run my tractor down. And my wife says that's the best money we ever spent. And I have to agree, this is quite a bit of work when you start healing these up. And normally we'll heal these a couple times. I healed them kind of high this time because, like I say, Friday night, they're saying 33, but you know, we could get colder. So instead of freezing the tops, now these ones that are sticking out, the tops will freeze, and they'll come back. But instead of hitting them all hard with the freeze, we'll cover them up, and they'll put down more roots. They'll shoot some leaves back up, come right out of the ground, no problem. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Maybe you learned a little something about the lazy man's way. But anyway, if you liked it, give it a big thumbs up. Enjoy your gardening experience.